Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Stylespreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Damali Fils, and today we have with us Tyler Poole. He's the co-founder of Beauty Book, a startup dedicated to revolutionizing the beauty industry through efficient business management. I'm going to start over, Tyler. Sorry.
All good.
Luckily we can edit, right?
That's right.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Stylespreneur Podcast. I am your host, Damali Fils, and today we have with us Tyler Poole. He's the co-founder of Beauty Book, a startup dedicated to the beauty industry through efficient business management software. Tyler, how are you? Come on in the room.
I am doing great, Damali. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No, I'm excited to have you, and I'm excited to hear all about Beauty Book. So can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. It's been a long process getting this thing up and running. We hit some
Okay.
hurdles early on, but basically we wanted to provide a lower cost option to independent stylists to manage
Okay.
their clients, handle bookings, online payments, a little bit of marketing. From what we saw with the majority of the platforms out there, they're more geared towards salons, and
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are more for the independent stylist, there's a ton of features that they don't necessarily need or
Okay.
need to pay for when they're trying to get started, right? There's a ton of other costs associated with getting started. So we want to provide something that gave them the basics without breaking the bank, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. It definitely makes sense. As a beauty professional myself and as an entrepreneur, like I've had those struggles where it's just like I would love to implement certain things into my business, but I'm only one person. I'm not a whole salon. I am just, working in a suite or doing booth rental. So I can very much appreciate something that's aimed towards, the styles that are entrepreneurs and that are helping us save money. So I absolutely love it. Now, Tyler,
Absolutely.
do you have a background in beauty? Like, how did what led you to Beauty Book?
That's a great question. As you can tell by my appearance, I may not be the most stylist friendly.
Right.
But what's funny, I actually got started in the gym and health industry
Okay.
probably 2014. Opened up a couple gyms, and I ran into the same issues. We had a lower amount of income that we could spend on getting the startup, and we looked at three or four different platforms, and they were
Okay.
extremely expensive and a lot of features that we just didn't need at the time. And trying to integrate those platforms with, getting a website built, the payment
Hmm.
process, all this stuff was a huge headache. And if you didn't have a background or knowledge of software, um, or any of that kind of stuff, it was pretty difficult. It wasn't very user friendly. And
Hmm.
so I'm using that experience now to be able to put all this stuff into one platform.
Okay, I love that. Now, for a beauty professional that is looking to use Beauty Book, can you walk us through the process of getting started with it, how it works, and just how it goes along with the beauty professional and their business?
Absolutely. So if you go to our website, beautybook.io,
Okay.
you can go on there, you can check out what we offer. Like I said earlier, we do want to offer the lowest priced option that has all these features that basically anybody needs. You
Okay.
get 30 days free to try it out. If you don't like it, no big deal. But if you do, you can go ahead and join up permanently for that time, and it's $10 a month, pretty cheap. You'll set up all your services, your free landing page, so you don't have to worry about integrating a website, which is nice.
Okay.
Get your payment processor. We use Stripe. It's integrated all within, so get your account set up if you don't have one already, and then start getting your clients in.
Okay. So what would you say are some of the key features?
Like I said, we wanted to cover the basics in this beginning version, if you will. So
Hmm.
getting your scheduling taken care of, obviously adding all of your services. The big thing was cancellation and no-show policy.
Hmm.
That was a big piece of feedback that we got from a ton of clients that we were able to talk
Oh
to, and so
yeah.
being able to integrate that. We do have SMS and email marketing, which is in there as well. And those are kind of the big, and of course, the free landing page that we were talking about. Those are the big things that we wanted to hit with this first version. And as we continue to grow, we want to, coming from a person who works themselves, taxes are a big deal that not a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
are familiar with. And so being able to
No.
give some sort of assistance with taxes and maybe some business savings to help you kind of
Okay.
grow that kind of stuff.
Okay. So I know one of the major things that does set you apart from other management softwares is that you're targeting towards, individuals. Are there anything else that you would say sets you apart?
So the one thing, so before I started this, and what actually led me to this industry, I worked as the director of operations for a sales company,
Okay.
and I got to really dive deep into analytics, and starting to play with a little bit of software. And so I'm very numbers oriented.
Okay.
And the big part of this that I really love and that I built personally was the dashboard. My goal is to integrate some sort of AI here in the next year or so to be
Okay.
able to tell you, hey, your average appointment is, let's say, an hour.
Hmm.
But you've got some downtime here. How about we, adjust your appointments to where we can get maybe one more appointment in per week to add, or maybe it's time to increase your charging rate. And so I want to
Okay.
kind of develop the AI in there. And so that dashboard, I think, is key to kind of give you a better overview of what your business is doing and how you can grow it.
Okay, I absolutely love that because I think as beauty professionals, a lot of times we're just working. We're not
Mhm.
necessarily, well, we're working behind the chair, but we're not working on our business. So
Right.
for a feature like that would be amazing.
Mhm.
Even me, like I have a husband that works in finance, so I'm kind of lucky, and he'll sit me down and say, "Let's go over the numbers." And I'm just like, "I did a lot of hair this week. I made a lot of money." He's like,
Right.
"Okay, but where are the areas of opportunities?"
Yep.
So I love that you're going to include that feature. It's much needed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And but that's at the same time, that's your job, right? Your job is to
Hmm.
build relationships and service your clients. And that's where your focus should be. And that's why we built
Hmm.
this platform. So it can work in the background and save you time to where you can focus on what you guys do best.
Gotcha. No, I love that. It's much needed, so I can appreciate that. I've been doing hair for, oh my gosh, almost 20 years now.
Mm.
And I feel like each year there's new companies coming out, like Beauty Book, that's making my life easier as a
Yep.
beauty professional. Because I'm pretty sure you see those videos where it's just like, I'm a hairstylist, but I'm also this, and that. And you're like,
Yes.
you're the manager, you're the
Mhm.
marketer, you're the advertiser. Like, you're wearing all these hats.
Yes,
So yeah,
absolutely.
so you're making
Yep.
our life easier. So thank you so much.
Yep. And I think that's hopefully the trend continues. Software as AI continues to grow, software is getting cheaper and cheaper to develop. And so that was the big thing with us. It's like, I don't understand why a lot of these companies, and I get it, especially as they get large, they continue to charge more and more and more,
Yeah,
but it's getting cheaper and cheaper to build software. So I was like, I don't need to charge, $100, $50 a month when it didn't cost me that much to build this. I want to be able to
exactly.
offer a low priced option, and still have the same features as the other stuff. So.
Gotcha. Now, would you say with Beauty Book that you're being able to contribute to the success of beauty professionals?
That's our goal. One of the
Hmm.
things that we're hoping to do this year is to tie into schools to where
Okay.
we can offer students free access as long as they're students, so they can focus on their craft while they're at school, but also be introduced to technology and the platforms that are available. So
Okay.
they're not, as soon as they get out there and get their own spot, that's not the first time they're seeing it. And I don't know, I haven't been able to chat with a ton of schools, but I don't know if they're really focusing on the business side when they're in school or
No,
just, and that's a shame.
there's like one page in the whole entire book that is focused on business.
Right.
Literally one page.
Yep. And I think that's where a platform like Beauty Book can really set itself apart, is kind of introducing the business side of the house without requiring you to get a degree in business, right?
Exactly. Which I was that person that my dad was like, you have to go to college, you have to get a
Right.
degree. So I got the business management degree first.
Yep.
And 2 days after graduating, I went to beauty school.
Right.
So he wanted to kill me, but still,
Yep.
it wasn't my passion.
Right.
I
Yep.
prefer to play in hair and play with color versus,
Yep.
calculate the budget and all that. I can, but
Absolutely.
I just don't prefer it.
Right. And I think that's what platforms need to be doing. If they truly know the industry, they realize that that's not, the background of the people who are using these platforms. And so it's our job to educate them and help them move forward in that in order to grow the business.
Gotcha. Now, as far as results, what results are you seeing or, the contribute that you guys are doing for beauty professionals?
The biggest thing is cutting down with their overhead each
Okay.
month. And that's the biggest thing right now with this first version. We wanted to, as I mentioned earlier, we wanted to give a platform that gives all their needs from the beginning. So if they're brand new to the industry, you don't have to worry about this extensive overhead. You're already paying for a booth, right? And you've got
Exactly.
all your supplies, all this stuff. The last thing you do is worry about an extra $100 a month that you've got to figure out, especially when your clientele is, maybe not the most at the time, right? And so that's the
Okay.
biggest thing, is keeping that overhead low. So again, they can focus on growing there. growing their clientele, and getting better at their craft.
Okay. Now, when it comes to like business management software, what are some of the misconceptions that people have, or what are some things that they don't know that's out there that they may be missing out on?
That's a good question. I looking at a couple different platforms, quite a few of them are offering a marketplace, which I think is can be a good place to get clients from. And I think
Okay.
that's what a lot of stylists are looking for. But at the same time, with a marketplace like that, are you creating a return customer, or is it just kind of a one-time thing? We wanted to offer some in-house marketing strategies via email, via text message, to where you can actually build the relationships with your clients instead
Okay.
of just relying on these onesies and twosies that come in and then never come back. And I'm sure you can speak to this way more than I can. It's about building that relationship and having them come
Mm-hmm.
back and come back. So,
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you can say, "Oh, I've done this person's hair. They love their hair. I can invite them back." But what about, sending out a text message or an email or even like a handwritten note or a coupon?
yep.
Those are some things that you may or may not do, but I'm pretty sure if you have a system, if you have someone backing you, that it'll make sure you do it because it's going to be tracking
Mhm.
it.
Absolutely. And
Exactly, right?
yep. And getting that and figuring out, having a system that figures out how often a person is getting their hair done and
Exactly.
sending out those reminders, just like you mentioned. Yep.
Yeah, because you'll sit there and be like, oh, I haven't seen, Sarah in forever.
Mhm.
But like you said, if you have that program. So yeah, it
Yep.
definitely makes sense. And for a person like me, I need those type of things. And I've talked to all of my stylist friends and they're like, oh gosh, it's tax season. Like, what do I
Right.
do?
Yes.
Because we just want
Mhm.
to do hair,
Absolutely. Yep. And
right?
taxes are, yes, and taxes are such a pain and
Right.
frustrating and time consuming, right? And again, that goes
Hmm.
back to, you guys need to focus on what you do best. And there needs to be something, that takes care of this burden, if you will, for
Gotcha.
you. So
Now, when we're thinking of the future in beauty book, like what's your goal? What impact do you want to make on the beauty industry?
I think for the near future, as I mentioned earlier, getting established with some schools just to
Okay.
get students involved in the upcoming technology that's out there. And again, not having their first time messing with a platform like this shouldn't be when they're, getting their first booth or, working in a salon for the first time. They should already have
Hmm.
experience with that and getting them aware of that business life, if you will. Again, we
Okay.
want them to focus on their craft, but they need that little bit of business training just to help them, get on the right foot. So
Okay. And what advice would you give? Like, I know you're saying you're reaching out to schools or whatnot, but to the beginner stylists that are just getting started with business, like, yes, Beauty Book gives them a software and a program, but they're probably like, how do I get started? What things am I
yeah.
looking for in order to build that successful business when it comes to management?
That's a good question. And that's the beauty of me being a sole owner of this company. I
Hmm.
like to, and especially coming from a gym background, one of our biggest thing was creating a family environment. A
Okay.
lot of our members would come, an hour before class and stay an hour after just to hang out because it was their second home.
Hmm.
And I kind of take that same mentality with this company. And, I always reach out to all of our clients, say, hey, if you have a question, let's get on a call right now. You're not talking to,
Right.
somebody that doesn't work for the company or VA or anybody like it. Talk with me. Let me help you walk you through and guide you in the right direction.
Okay, perfect. Now, Tyler, there's one thing I always ask all of my guests that come on the show, and that is, what is your power as an entrepreneur? Like, what's your superpower? How do you do what you're doing?
That's a good question. It's I don't sleep very much. I don't know if that's
Okay.
a superpower or not, but I genuinely think at the end of the day it comes down to wanting to help people. That was, the one reason I got into the gym space. That was a passion of mine, was helping people and seeing this transformation. And I think this is a better way to see that happen because I can reach so many more people without
Hmm.
having to be restricted to one spot.
Gotcha.
I can get on a Zoom and talk with hundreds and hundreds of people and I can help more people
Exactly.
more easier. So
Got you, which I love that because that's the whole basis of this podcast is just to help beauty professionals, with their business, to create businesses, sustain
mhm.
businesses. And I do believe that Beauty Book is something that will really help them. So I thank you for coming on the show today. I thank you for sharing with us. And I want to make sure all my listeners are able to find Beauty Book. So where can we find you guys?
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me. You can find us at beautybook.io, and there's no Y, there is an I in Beautybook.
Okay.
And if you ever have any questions, obviously the email is on the website, but you can reach us at team@beautybook.io, and that goes directly to me. And we can always hop on a call.
Okay. Well, I am rooting for you. I wish you the best, and I'll have to check on you next year to see how far you got.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.